Salams and welcome. Excuse me. A right royal affair. I like everything about royalty. I don't know about you. Let me know your thoughts and comments. There's some people who love royalty. Some people don't like royalty. Me, I love royalty. They have their place in the world, and I think it makes us a bit nostalgic. I grew up with royalty in the sense that in the 60s and 70s we see a lot of movies about royalty. In South Africa, we saw Princess Diana getting married, and from that time we fell in love with Princess Diana. So I love the royal family for whatever it's worth. So, what is this all about? Breaking news: King Charles receives the Emperor of Japan. The Emperor of Japan has landed in United Kingdom in Britain and has been received a wonderful royal welcome by King Charles. King Charles, you can see the royal welcome, the elite presidential guard, and the Emperor of Japan is going there and inspecting the royal guard. It's so amazing. It's so fascinating. I just love it. I just love it. And then you can see towards the end in an open carriage driven by about 12 or 15 horses, all magnificent black beautiful horses. I love horses. I love white horses specifically. And the horses in an open carriage. Imagine the Emperor of Japan and the King of the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth nations, sitting side by side and traveling in a horse and cart. In a day when we have spaceships going to the moon, we have electric cars, we have Rolls Royces, and we have Lamborghinis, and we have Ferraris. Yet they're going with a horse and cart. So I just love that. I just love that. Horse and cart, keeping our traditions alive. Sometimes we need to keep our traditions. So let me know about you. I grew up with fairy tales about the prince and princess. So I always have this fascination about royal life. Royalty is something that I'm just absolutely fascinated about. Now, this combination, United Kingdom and Japan, has evoked memories of what? Tell me, what does that do? For me, immediately I thought of Shogun. I thought of The Last Samurai. I thought of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table because I'm fascinated with medieval history. I love epic movies. I love period dramas. That means a drama that has happened in medieval Europe with King Arthur. I love those movies. I love drama that happened in ancient Japan where the Emperor of Japan, the samurai warriors with the Bushido code of conduct. I just absolutely love that. Tell me about yourself. What do you love? So let me just tell you, let's remind ourselves. In those days, there wasn't binge TV and binge watching. I watched Shogun in the 1980s, Shogun with Richard Chamberlain. And then from that time, I fell in love with Japan. And there's these swords, the samurai swords. They got two swords, one long one, one short one. And they do the seppuku. They stab themselves in the abdomen. So I was absolutely enthralled. Absolutely enthralled. And the code of conduct, these dignified people. And the Knights of the Round Table in the Sunday Times in those days, in the 60s and 70s. They used to have Prince Valiant on the last page. On the last page of the Sunday Times was a comic section. So we used to have Prince Valiant, and we have, what is the other one? Handicap, Blondie. We had those fabulous comics. But there was no binge TV. You had to wait for the next Sunday to read the next part of Prince Valiant. And when you watch Shogun every Tuesday night, you had to wait for a whole week for the next Tuesday to watch Shogun again, the next episode of Shogun. Today there's binge watching. You can watch 50 movies over the weekend. You can watch a series, 50 series and watching, binge watching. Okay, so the legendary Arthur developed as a figure of international interest, depicting Arthur as king of Britain who defeated the Saxons. Many elements we know of the King Arthur story: his father, Uther Pendragon, the magician Merlin, his wife Guinevere, the sword Excalibur, Arthur's conception at Tintagel, the final battle against Mordred, we all know Mordred, and the final rest in Avalon, then Lancelot and the Holy Grail and the Knights of the Round Table. So absolutely amazing. And the samurai, I love the samurai. So we have a combination, Knights of the Round Table and the samurai. So the samurai with the hereditary military nobility, excuse me, in the winter we tend to cough a bit. The samurai were well paid and had high prestige and special privileges. They were required to wear two swords on duty. They engaged combatants using the Bushido codes of martial virtues and followed various cultural ideals about how a samurai should act. Bushido is translated as the way of the warrior. is a moral code concerning samurai attitudes, behavior, and lifestyle. A high moral code, high moral code. Bushido is also an overarching term for the codes, practice, philosophies, and principles of the samurai culture. Loosely translated, it means chivalry, like how the knights of the round table and the samurai, chivalry. So it's amazing to see two kings, two emperors meeting on the soil of the United Kingdom. And then we remember the movie Last Samurai, starring Ken Watanabe and Tom Cruise, a fabulous movie. You must watch that movie. And then it reminds us of the Shogun. Richard Chamberlain starred in that movie, an English navigator. In this movie was the TV series released in the 1980s, starring Richard Chamberlain, Toshiro Mifune, and Yoko Shimada. An absolutely amazing movie. Absolutely amazing movie. It follows the fictional Englishman John Blackthorne transforming experience in feudal Japan in the early 17th century. So very briefly, you know the story. After his Dutch trading ship Erasmus and its surviving crew is blown ashore by a violent storm at Anjiro, pilot Major John Blackthorne is taken prisoner by samurai warriors. Blackthorne is at both religious and political odds with his enemies, the Portuguese traders and the Catholic Church's Jesuit order. The Catholic foothold in Japan, Britain, and Catholicism with Japan puts Blackthorne, a Protestant and therefore heretic, at a political disadvantage. The same situation also brings him under the scrutiny of the influential Lord Toranaga, who mistrusts his foreign religion now spreading throughout Japan. To help the Englishmen learn their language and to assimilate into Japanese culture, Lord Toranaga assigns a teacher and interpreter to him, the beautiful lady Mariko, who he falls in love with. Oh my word, I love these love stories. So Blackthorne saves Lord Toranaga's life, not one time but 2 or 3 times, and then because of that, Lord Toranaga makes Blackthorne a samurai, an Englishman. An Englishman becomes a Japanese samurai. He awards him 2 swords, 20 kimono, 200 of his own samurai, an income-producing fief, the fishing village Anjiro, where Blackthorne was first blown ashore with his ship and crew. So let me know your thoughts. Myself, I'm old and I'm cold, but I love the royal family. I still recall Princess Diana. What a fabulous woman. Not only beautiful, but so elegant, so marvelous, an amazing woman. You know, in that same week when Princess Diana died, Mother Teresa also died. And then I think it was a pope. I don't know if she was canonized as a saint, but I say Princess Diana is also a saint. So in 1 week, 2 saints died. Princess Diana the saint and Mother Teresa the saint, worlds apart, but joined together for their love for humanity and people with good and kind hearts. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.